In the shadows of sundown towns across America, where the sun dips low and darkness looms large, a sinister reality still haunts Black individuals, leading to their sudden disappearance and death. These towns, with their histories of racial violence and exclusion, remain a stark reminder that the promise of equality and justice is often a distant dream. For Qadir and Nazir Lewis, 19-year-old twin brothers from Lawrenceville, Georgia, this reality became a tragic fate.
A mystery on Bell Mountain. The bodies of twin brothers found in Towns County near the North Carolina line, 90 miles from their home in Lawrenceville.
The tragic deaths of Qadir Malik Lewis and Nazir Rahim Lewis has sent shockwaves through their community and beyond. On March 8, 2025, the brothers were found dead on Bell Mountain by hikers in Hiawassee, Georgia, a town with a notorious history of racial tension.
And I'm gonna be honest, as a truck driver, once you step on those back roads in this country, you are going back to the 1950s. So that's why I wish I knew those twins, because in Georgia, I would tell them, the Lyft driver, the Uber driver, don't trust them, because in this country, they are stealing organs from our people.
The cause of death was gunshot wounds. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, initially ruled the deaths as a murder-suicide scenario. But the family of the victim strongly disagrees with the GBI's findings, believing that something more sinister has occurred.
And first of all, shout out to the family for not believing what those cops were saying that they did to themselves. And I noticed something. I always see a pattern. Every time this happened in a sundown town, that's the first thing they say. Because once you say that, now they got their narrative. Once they said that, they hoping that the family would go for it. So shout out to that family for not going for it. And look, by now, y'all know me. Y'all know I love to do my research. And I found this out. Hiawassee, Georgia, 94.2 Caucasian people, 0.4 Black people. That told me everything I needed to know. The family said the brothers had booked a flight to Boston for 7 a.m. last Friday, but never made their flight. Just 24 hours later, they were found dead in an area the family said they had never visited before. The family said the brothers' plane tickets were found in their wallets on the mountain. And look, like I was saying earlier, I'm gonna tell y'all what's going on. They took an Uber or a Lyft and they was kidnapped. I made multiple videos that these days people are kidnapping our people.
Georgia, it has been uncovered, happens to be one of the active sundown towns in the United States, which apparently rules out every possibility of the sad event as being the product of some accident or self-inflicted harm, like the Georgia Bureau of Investigation did readily mention. The family had reported that the twins have always been so warm with each other, which rules out any and every possibility of suicide. They cited the twins' incredibly close bond and protective nature towards each other.
They had a huge support system. Like, we know them that they wouldn't do anything like this. So to say that they did this to each other when they come from a family of love and they love each other, they always together, we don't believe that. They didn't do this to each other. Something happened in those mountains and we want answers.
That was Qadir and Nazir's aunt, Yasmin Bronner, emphasizing that the twins came from a family of love and would never harm each other. Qadir and Nazir were known for their inseparable relationship, often described as two peas in a pod. Their uncle, Rahim Bronner, shared that the twins were very protective of each other and had never even been seen getting into a fight before.
They're very protective of each other. They love each other. They're like inseparable. So I couldn't imagine them hurting each other because I never even seen them get into a fist fight before.
This close relationship the twin had has made it difficult for the family to accept the possibility of one brother harming the other.
There's no motive. There's no motive. There's no bad blood. These are twins. These twins, according to everybody in the family, these individuals wouldn't hurt other people, let alone each other, in this manner. Nothing is adding up. Nothing makes sense.
The circumstances surrounding the twins' death are puzzling. According to the family, Qadir and Nazir had plans to visit friends in Boston and had even booked a flight. However, they never boarded the plane, and their airline tickets were found in their wallets. The family questions how the twins, who had never visited Bell Mountain or Hiawassee, ended up there nearly 90 miles from their home in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
How they end out in the mountains, they don't hike out there. They've never even been out there. They don't know nothing about Hiwassee, Georgia. They never even heard of Bell Mountains. So how did they end up right there?
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, claims to be leading the investigation into the deaths. But while autopsies have been completed, the official cause and manner of death are still pending further forensic tests.
I did reach out to the GBI tonight. A spokesperson says the twins' autopsies is finished, but they're awaiting additional forensic testing to be finished, as well as the investigation portion of this, before they issue a final ruling on the brothers' causes of death.
The GBI confirmed that autopsies have been completed, but the agency is still awaiting additional forensic test results along with additional investigative work before issuing a final ruling on the cause of death. And how ironic that they need time to investigate, but the autopsy is finished. And you telling me that you need time to investigate. This town, this county has a population of 1,002 people. You telling me no one knows anything? And we know how those small towns get. Everybody talk, everybody gossip. Oh, Caucasian people ain't different from black people. They gossip too, probably even more. They gossip, they talk your business, they tell everything, especially when somebody dies in their town. So you telling me out of 1,002 people, no one knows anything? Make it make sense.
The family is seeking answers and justice for their loved ones, and a GoFundMe campaign has been launched to support them. The campaign has raised over $62,000, showcasing the community's support and solidarity. In a related development, days after, a 42-year-old volunteer firefighter, Scott Curlin, was arrested and charged with misdemeanor obstruction for allegedly taking photos of the crime scene.
And then to add on top of the chaos and the confusion, you have a local authority, obviously tied into not only the fire department, but also obviously the police department, the medical examiner's department. These individuals don't work in silos, they work together. He then takes a picture and releases it to the public. But you can't do that in a silo. You can't do that by yourself. That means you got some public folk that you can talk to, that you can release this picture to. So who are you talking to in the public to release the picture? And why are you doing it in the first place? Who told you to do this? Have you ever done this before? If you've never done it before, that means that you're probably under a directive for the first time to do something like this, because I'm sure it's not the first time that a dead body has been found in that area. But why this time did you decide to do these actions?
Now, we don't know just how many people shared this horrific picture of the twins' dead bodies, but tonight I confirmed with the Towns County Schools the picture had been shared among students.
Oh my goodness. It's scary. I'm like literally scared to actually go on social media. I'm scared to pick up my phone. I'm like, because if I see that picture, I already know that I might have a heart attack.
Imagine if they mother see that, like, that would really destroy her. She's already going through a lot.
It's very disrespectful to this family. I feel like our privacy was invaded.
However, Scott Curlin was subsequently dismissed from his role for breaching department protocol. As the investigation continues, the family remains steadfast in the pursuit of truth and justice.
There are more questions than answers. I'm with the family on this one. There needs to be an exhaustive investigation into every element of this case, and hopefully there will be a just outcome, but we're going to stay on top of it until there is. Jackson, thoughts here?
Yeah, I think the suicide notion is that seems incredibly unlikely for, two young men at the stage that they were in their lives, and their family didn't say that they were ever suicidal or depressed or anything like that, for them to just take themselves out there and do that. More likely they were kidnapped for some reason. But definitely something that no parent should have to deal with. They had their whole lives ahead of them, and they definitely deserve justice. So hopefully we get more concrete information.
There's been increasing reports lately concerning blacks who suddenly disappear on their way traveling through certain states and can't be found by their loved ones. It's becoming unquestionably true that sundown towns are still in existence in the United States.
multiple videos that these days people are kidnapping our people. Not even just kidnapping them. They used it in hospitals too. They used our black women in hospitals. They forcing them to have C-sections so they can take out certain organs out of their body to give to the rich and then close them back up, seal them back up, and a few days later they die. I'm telling you, they doing this to our people. Not just in Georgia, not just in New York. They doing it in Alabama too. I made videos about that. They doing that to the prisoners. They using that as an excuse. The state of Alabama gave a college, UAB, the permission to take organs, to steal organs from prisoners. I'm telling you, that's what's really going on, but they ain't gonna talk about it. So that's why I say to that family, you cannot trust the cops. I'm gonna be real. You might have to do your own investigation. You might have to hire a private investigator because all these people are on the same team, the investigators, the DA, especially when the town is this small, especially in a sundown town. They don't care about you. You're black. They've been doing this. This probably our first time just hearing about it, but they've been doing this. And a lot of people online, they love to talk about black on black crime. But when stuff like this happens, everybody quiet.
This heart-wrenching event has been nothing but a sad reminder to the black community on what it was like for them way back in the United States. Many has labeled what happened to Kadir and Nazir Lewis as nothing other than modern-day lynching, demanding justice for the twin.
This is the modern-day lynching mechanism. If you can go back and watch any of the old pictures of lynchings where they have black men and women suspended in the air from trees, you can find 50 to 100, sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands of white people sitting there taking pictures of the body, taking pictures, smiling, laughing. They actually used to send postcards out when they did this. They used to send postcards with white people and the body hanging from the air, and they would send them to their relatives and family members. Like, this was a national pastime. And here we see a modern form of that, where a quote unquote volunteer firefighter. Now, he's not a real firefighter, so there's no telling what he does during the day. So he may just be some charlatan. He looks, honestly, I'm just going to say it, he looks to me like a guy, like a D-rug addict. He looks like an addict to me. But nevertheless, this man has gone unscathed. That article didn't show him. Luckily, I was able to find that picture. But he is the man that is going around town sharing these pictures. Now, also, you heard the lady say that the Bell Mountain does not have cameras. The gates don't open till 8 a.m. and they close at, in part of the time, sundown. And they said that these twins' car were parked inside that gate with their phones, their wallets, and their tickets still there. Who in these days, especially 19-year-olds, leaves their phone in the car locked? And so when somebody first saw this video, they reached out to me and said that they were lured there by someone. You know, it was somebody, you know, whom, you know, gained or garnered their trust, possibly a law enforcement officer or a firefighter. But we've done a story about the Hiawassee walking trail before, where Trevante Jamal Schubert was found just about a year and a half ago in that same manner, but he was suspended in the air from a tree. Of course, you know what they said. It was a S word. But this is once again an evidence of the insensitivity, you know, the maliciousness, the evidence of foul play, if you ask me. You know, and these are the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of the people who used to take pictures by the bodies hanging in the air. And so I think this man deserves a lot more charges, but this definitely adds a stranger twist to the story. Hopefully they will not just kind of rule it out.
The case highlights concerns about violence, racial disparities, and the need for systemic changes to prevent such tragedies. It also raises questions about the handling of cases involving Black individuals, particularly when authorities quickly conclude a murder-suicide scenario without thorough investigation.
We want answers. We want to know exactly what happened to the twins.
Will the family of Qadir and Nazar Lewis get justice for the cold murder of their children? Will the American system stand up and do what is right by fishing out the perpetrators behind this evil? This brings us to the end of this sobering video. We hope the family gets the justice they seek so that they can be at least relieved from the painful, plaguing deaths of their children who were in their prime and their promising future snatched off. Just like that. Thank you for watching.